There, we have Rebecca Rinaldi here from Italy, who is going to be talking about her practical tips to start your photography business. We're going to have her join now.
Oh, yes, I found even some vintage headphones so I can hear you better.
Oh, good. That's a good idea. I should probably do that. Thanks for joining us. Okay, so we're going to catch everybody up really quickly. So Rebecca, I just said you're an artist from Italy. What city do you live in?
Genova.
Oh, you're in Genova. So she's in Genova, which is in the north of Italy, right? Okay.
Yeah.
And you're a designer, mostly a graphic designer.
Yes, I would say that.
What design do you do?
I've worked for a designer like since I was 19 years old. I'm 40 now, so you can make the calculation. And I've been graphic designer more like on the commercial side of design, yacht designer. I've worked a lot in technical writing and technical drawing. So a little bit of interior design. So a lot of aspects of design. Never done on any of these in a good way. I've always did them like so and so.
Because you like to try like a lot of different things.
I don't know. I think that's like my personality is like that. I get a lot involved. There's a lot of people that have this problem. I get involved in things, and then I have to change a little bit. So I worked in an office. Then I went to yacht design school, and then I got pregnant. And that's a little bit where I decided to become a photographer, because at like 30 years old, 35, 34, I understood I had to have a real job. My problem was that when people asked me, what's your job? I didn't know how to explain it. So saying I'm a photographer made my life a lot easier.
So tell me about like how you split your time. Do you do photography like half and then you do design half, or like what is it now? How do you do it?
Yes, it should be like a very analytic thing, but I never can actually follow, my schedule. It actually works out what you have going on at the moment. So if I have a design project going on, I'm going to be very focused on that. But if a client calls me up and I want to have a shooting next week, okay, no problem. And so it's always like mix and match, and a little bit what I'm inspired to do in the moment. I think a lot of people can relate to this. If you all work in a creative work, you have to a little bit follow the flow of what you feel like doing in the moment. So it might be that in the middle of the night I get an idea and I have to wake up and write it down.
Tell us, like, since Corona, how has it changed for you?
Actually, not very much, because my design job, I'm working with people around the world. Like my boss is in Serbia, and we have clients in US, clients in UK. So we've always worked remotely. And on the photography side, not much either, except obviously in the moments we couldn't go out, so we weren't meeting people and meeting clients. But people call me, like, the first thing they wanted to do when they had a chance to go out, the first thing they wanted to do was a session with me. Maybe even because I work a lot in nature and outside.
A lot of people try to find people locally. Like, there's so many people are having, like, for example, they have kids during Corona and their baby is now almost, like 9 months old or 1 year old, and they've never taken a photo shoot for them. Do you have any advice for finding a photographer that could do like work nearby you? How do you work more locally?
I think it's always social media, even locally. First, the very first thing is word of mouth. You have a friend probably that had a kid, and maybe you saw some pictures, so you can ask. Otherwise, it's how the world goes. You just search on Instagram. And you really search like, I don't know, newborn photographer, Genova or Liguria or Italy or wherever you are. And you're going to find them.
So how do you show people what your style is? Like, what's your way to like build your brand so that they know? what you would like to do or what you want to be reached out for?
I would really be happy to know that people understand it immediately because I've worked on this so much, because I think that defining your style, and I call it more brand than style, because it's not only photography style, it's the whole world around my profession in this case. So I really hope that people understand that, because I put so much effort in trying to explain people that it's all, in my case, about raw emotion, about those little happy moments of life, and on stopping just a moment to understand how lucky you are in that moment and how happy you are, and forget everything that's going wrong around you, around the world, whatever. But you have like your little happy bubble, and you have to be happy of it. So I would be happy to say that people understand that my style is really natural, authentic, emotional, and I hope that's visible. If it's not visible, I've done everything wrong in the past 8 years.
I don't think so. But is it mostly on Instagram then that you try to build this brand on Instagram?
Yes, on Instagram, I have a lot of people here in my little town with which I engage, and I talk a lot about having experiences, call a photographer, even if it's not me, it's not about the money in this case. I have, fortunately, even another job, so it's a lot about encouraging people in having these experiences.
Growing up in somewhere like Italy that's so creative, like, do you think that's what, I mean, you say I'm a creative professional, not an artist, which I disagree with. Like, I would probably call you an artist. But I wonder, like, tell me about, like, what it's like to be in Italy, and, like, how does that shape you? And because a lot of people, like, they don't have this option to, be a creative professional, or it might be harder for them where they're from. Like, did it help where you grew up, or is there anything special?
This is an interesting question. I've never thought about this, because I've always complained about the fact that Italy is a little bit old on what is internet marketing, of what is social media. I think Italians are not on the internet enough at the moment. But it is true that you have a lot of art around you, and you have a lot of creative people, and you have a lot of interesting people. So you just made me realize that it's a very interesting balance, because you connect with people around you, they inspire you, and then you have the chance maybe to talk with the rest of the world on the internet. So I would say half and half. It's something that balances itself a lot.
Yeah, I mean, everyone else like goes to Italy to get inspired creatively. And
yes,
and I think I always talk with the photographers about how I think that their local place or their culture is like really defining what they're doing, especially when you're talking about going in nature. So you have to deal with the background as well as your subject that you're working with. So it's like, how can you do justice to that?
That this is so true. And I always get upset because I see all these amazing photographers from Australia, from Canada, from US. And I always say, I don't have this kind of nature. And I used to get upset for this, but lately I understood, and I told myself, okay, you don't have that kind of nature, you have a different kind of nature. Try to appreciate that. And that's always the circle I was talking about before, of having photography as an excuse to do something different and to find something new, and to get in the car and get to Tuscany and have that amazing weekend and drink a glass of wine and have your pictures at sunset. And it's something I probably wouldn't have done if I hadn't decided that my brand was about nature. I would go in the city and take pictures in the city.
Have you been able to do work in other cities? Like, is there a way that you can get jobs in Tuscany and go there?
Yes, I have. Mainly always like for word of mouth, or from people that find me on Instagram. Mainly foreigners, like people that come on vacation. And because I think they're more used to searching on social media than an Italian person. And yes, even if I always try to don't go too far away. Like I go to Tuscany, I can go to Piedmont, I can go to Lombardia. I don't like to leave my family too much. Like I wouldn't go away like 1 week only for a job. Not in this moment of my life.
Yeah, have you collaborated? Like, tell me about, have you ever collaborated on anything that you think is interesting? People have
Oh
talked about?
yes. Oh, I don't know. Do we have the time for this? Because this is a whole different
Yeah,
project.
give
I
us the cliff notes, but we haven't talked really on the lives about collaborations as much as I want to. But I
oh
know a
this
lot
is
of people are feeling lonely, and so like, how can
no.
they? At least they can build the connections now, and then they can do the collaborations later.
Yes, this was taught to me from my like ex-business partner because I'm quite a shy person and I don't interact a lot with people. But she taught me that it's important to get in touch with other people that like think a little bit in the same way that you do or that they do the same job. And I had a chance to meet with other photographers. Always thank you, social media. Thank you,
Yeah.
internet, because we got in touch. Hey, I'm coming in Piemonte next weekend. Would you like to meet up? Yes, I would. I have another friend from Milan. And together we did this amazing project that is Love Photo Experience. That is like the same thing that I do, but only for couples. So it's always pictures about emotions, a lot very intimate moments, but it's only done in couples, and we work on this together. People that are traveling, get in touch with us, or people that maybe are not married but would like to have a whole day with a photographer, or people just that want to be together and have some pictures taken. But it's cool because it's like more about talking, like having a glass of wine, getting to know each other. And then the actual shooting is very short, but we stay together the whole day. And that's really the thing that we wanted to achieve, was to get in touch with people. And
Like what?
that's,
Like, give me an example of a day.
oh, we can do it a whole day or half day. And the last one we did it actually in the city, which is a thing we don't usually do. We always prefer nature. And we got together for lunch. And the plan was, okay, lunch, and then we go off for the shooting at 1 o'clock p.m. At the end of the day, we were at the table in the restaurant until 5 o'clock, just chatting. And at the end, we said, okay, guys, it's 5 o'clock. We have no pictures. We have to get going. And we had our we had our session in 1 hour, but it was a nice experience. The pictures were amazing. This couple got back to us. They call me when they pass here just to say hello.
That'd be amazing. I mean, so many people, obviously they come back and they'd love those photos. But so
Yes.
I mean, that's a great tip. I feel so many people can do that. Even if it's just their towns, like they don't even need to be cities. But how do you advertise that?
That's a little bit the problem the problem
Yeah.
on that, because even this is only for now is only website and Facebook and Instagram. We are getting in touch with a marketing agency because we understood that we are not good in marketing. So if someone out there is a marketing expert and wants to get in touch, please do, because we need the marketing. Someone
Yeah,
that helps us.
I'm always like, also don't waste your money if they're gonna like charge you sometimes like these marketing agencies charge you so much. Maybe even like just a list of organizations nearby, if you just let them know about it, it might be like a better idea also.
Oh yes. We are even in touch like with wedding planners, with
Yeah.
locations. But that's the old school way. It's like you get
Yeah.
your little brochure. I can't
Yeah.
reach otherwise I would show it. Let me see if I can catch it.
There's also the tour companies.
Yeah,
That's nice.
but it's always like I told you, Italy is a little bit old style on this. You have to take this, that it's our amazing magazine, and you
Wow,
have to.
that's expensive. That's like, how
No,
much
I
does
think.
that cost to print?
Oh, I don't know, but like
Yeah.
a couple of euros for copy. It's not expensive. We did this online. It's like 4 pages.
Okay.
No, nothing fancy. A lot of photographers do this already, and they give
Yeah.
it to people. In this case, you have to really go to the location, go to the hotel, go to the travel agency, and you have to show your
Yeah.
face, present yourself.
Have you tried the booking feature on Instagram?
No, not yet.
You can actually book shoots on Instagram and assign your rate.
Ah,
From what I know from customers that always want shoots, is they can never find the price without messaging the photographer. But if you have like a virtual brochure, like an e-brochure, people locally will reach out so much more because it's like people all the time call me and they're like, hey, Christina, I need a photographer in this area. How can I find one? I'm like, look on Instagram. And then they're like, no, but like, we don't know like what they cost. And then they just get shy, super shy.
yes, but it
You
is a
know?
job. It is a job. There's nothing wrong
Yeah.
in saying that you're doing it for money. There's like people who do that, their personal stuff. But if I'm
Yeah.
selling something, I told you, I think that I'm a professional, not an artist. So that's the same thing. I have a price list. And tomorrow morning, I promise I'm going to make my price list on Instagram. I'm going to make like a little story about it
We'll
because
share
this
it.
is really the
We'll share
best advice, best advice.
for sharing. I appreciate
Thanks.
you opening up. This is definitely helpful for so many people. I'm sure they'll learn a lot, and maybe they'll come visit you and meet up with you. And
Oh, yes. Let me know. Thank you for having me so much. Really. That was
thank you
very
so
nice.
much. Have a great week.
Goodbye,
Bye.
Daria.
See ya.
Ciao.
Ciao.